Welcome back to the Movie A Day podcast, the one and only podcast that reviews a different film each and every day. My name is Grant, and as always, I am your host for this podcast. Assisting me on my journey to break down these movies is none other than Sky.
How's it going?
It's going all right. And Ryan.
I'm here. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't know what to do for an intro. I didn't have anything creative to
What
do.
I do know is that, Ryan, you picked for us to watch The Whistleblower,
Yes.
directed by Larisa Kondracki.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Sorry to whatever ethnicity I have offended. And it stars Rachel Weisz as Catherine Bull. Oh my goodness, Bulkovac. Jesus Christ.
It's a Russian name, so Bulkovac.
Sorry to every ethnicity that exists besides us Americans. Although someday I'm going to mispronounce an American name as well. It stars Rachel Weisz as Catherine Bulkovac as a Nebraskan cop who served as a peacekeeper in post-war Bosnia and outed the UN for covering up a sex trafficking scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sky, in one word or less, would you recommend watching The Whistleblower?
I'd gotta say
One word
I gotta say
or
no.
less.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
Interesting.
Ryan, in one word or less, would you recommend The Whistleblower?
It's going to be a no for me, Doug.
Interesting. I'm going to say yes. In a shocking plot twist. Now, before we get into our group discussion that may or may not, but most likely may involve spoilers, do you guys have anything to say about The Whistleblower?
So when I say no, I sorry, Sky. I jumped the gun there. But when I say no, I'm saying no because I don't think it might not appeal to most people. I'm not sure. It is kind of a current topic because it's about sex trafficking and stuff, which is a current topic. But I guess I would change my recommendation to depends. I mean, it kind of depends on if you're into that, if you're into these kind of crime movies. But otherwise, I'd say no. That was just my side note.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say no as a film, but at the same point, I have trouble knowing if this is how everything occurred in real life. I don't know how you can obviously be it doesn't work cinematically. Well, if it happened in real life this way, that could get rid of some of my criticisms. But as a film, that's why I guess I say no.
So, backing up my recommendation, I guess kind of, in that sense. As a movie, it is kind of heavy-handed. It does have some pacing issues. It does have some cheese. But there's nothing really, as far as I've looked up, that really contests any of the things that happen in this movie. Not with specific characters, but in general, just the whole this happened in real life. And I think if it did happen this way, which most likely it did, I think this is a movie that everyone should see because it is a big issue that's happening in the world today. Man, I think the more people that know about it, the better, because I had no idea. So just on that basis alone, I would recommend it. But I think we can jump into our group discussion now.
All right. So on that note, Grant, what I would recommend is watching a documentary about it. Then I don't know.
Is there one that exists?
I'm sure there's several. I mean, sex trafficking, it's a huge problem all over the world. I mean, well, granted, I guess it's not movie related, but every time you go in airports, dude, it's everywhere. Chicago airport, they just have posters of it, trying to create more awareness for it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do have sex trafficking documentaries and movies, but to this scale of this cover up and with this many nations and high ranking officers involved, I don't know.
Yeah, again, that's what I agree with what you're saying in the sense of if it creates awareness to see it, but that's why I say as a film, I guess it doesn't quite work for me. I don't know. Again, it's not a movie I like hated by any means. I just thought it was like, eh. I never heard about it. I watched it, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that is a big problem. And yeah, I didn't, all the cover up stuff, like that's like super freaking messed up. But I feel like there's got to be like better versions of like, I guess, a movie that creates awareness like this. Again, I'm talking more as like a film, I guess, not as much as the content. Because I would agree the content is important, but
Yeah, because I feel like this movie does a lot well. Like Rachel Weisz did a good job. I thought it was very well edited. It had moments where it was shot well, and then it had other moments where it was like a Paul Greengrass movie for no reason, and someone was just like spiked up on Adderall, shaking the camera.
Yeah, during it like a dialogue scene where there's just two people talking, and it's like one is like crazy, and the other one's kind of calmer.
Yeah, not really too sure what the directions were for those shots, but this is interesting.
Yeah,
I guess for me, the character, I guess, I don't know. I mean, again, it's hard to say, right? Because like this is a real person. I don't know this person's real life, so I'm just judging it based on the film. But it just, I don't know. The pacing issues were definitely there, and then like, I guess I wish they would have set up more rules to like, or like what the rules were, like because they have the diplomatic immunity thing, but then they don't really explain what that means until like way into the movie, and you're like, why wouldn't this girl like report this sooner? Why wouldn't she have sent the email right away? But again, if that's like the order of things that she did, I guess you can't, if that actually happened, like it actually happened. But I think you even said it when we were watching it, Grant, like she really didn't do anything. It was more that other guy from Jason Bourne movies, whatever his name, David Strathairn's character, Peter Ward, like he's the one who essentially did he got her all the documents, all the proof, essentially, when they were taking it away from her. And then he like wore like a mic and pretended to be bad to get all the proof again. So like,
yeah, like she had to drive to go get everything, but like he's really the one that like drove it home.
Yeah, and he's barely in the movie. So like that's where it's like, huh.
But he's
that's
working.
Weird.
Maybe he's not in the movie for a reason though. Maybe he's just like working kind of behind the scenes because he doesn't want to be noticed. No,
again, I'm just saying like as a film, it seemed very bizarre. Like you're following this main character.
Typically,
and the main character
as a film,
yeah,
you would kind of see what goes on behind the scene. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So you know who else is barely in the movie? Benedict
Cumberbatch
with an English accent.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Or an American accent, I should say.
Yeah, American. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was a good American accent, but it just sounds like wrong.
Well, didn't he have an American accent as Doctor Strange?
Not as much.
Like it was kind of like a different accent, but it was still Americanized.
It wasn't horrible. It's just weird. I don't like it when they switch.
It felt more natural in Doctor Strange than it did in this. When I heard his accent in this, it's like, whoa, what the?
Well, and he's only in 2 scenes.
Yeah. Not really sure why either.
Well, and I think we were all talking about this last night.
Other than that, he was really creepy.
That's what I guess I would say. Like every actor in this movie, besides Rachel Weisz, was just like creepy dude. Except for, I guess, her kind of love interest.
They were all estranged, dude. Like, they were so estranged. Like, it was, like, weird. Like, even, like, the cops. Like, it's like, none of these cops are good.
Well, like, I would... And that's the part that, like, yeah, like, if that's true, then, like, that's, like, messed up, I guess. But, like, they kept hitting home on the same themes, I guess, is the problem with me, like, as a film. Like, I get it. These guys are bad. And, yeah, you could show them doing bad things in different ways, which they did. But then they just keep kind of repeating. And then the main character gets frustrated when nothing works. And so that's where I'm like, okay. Like, you think by, like, the 8th time everyone is doing this evil, creepy stuff, like, you would be like, okay, I can't just try to, like, go about this the normal way. Like, you think... Like, she could tell right off the bat that all the cops on the job were, like, doing stuff. So, like, you think right then and there that might have been a sign, like, okay, I gotta go way above my head. And she goes, like, slightly above her head, gets completely shut down. And then she's like, well, I'm gonna still keep trying here. And everyone's like, you need to get out of here. Like, you are gonna, like, die. And, like, no one threatened her at all. which I mean, maybe
Yeah.
again that could have happened that way, but just like it didn't fit, I guess, the narrative. I don't know of the story. I guess for me, and that's what like it sucks with movies that are like based on true events. I never like I don't do research on like whether they were or not usually, because I feel like that's separate from the movie. But yeah, I mean, unless it obviously lies, then I'm like, okay, well then that's just like false advertising. But
Yeah, I tend to only look up stuff like that, like historical accuracies in movies. Like if there's something in the movie that makes me question the legitimacy.
American Sniper.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever want to talk about that movie.
or even Green Book this year apparently has a bunch of controversy with it.
Fake
I mean,
news.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like as a film, I guess narratively, like characters' actions don't fully make sense. At least the way they portray it in the film, I don't understand why the character did things this way. And if they didn't do them that way in real life, like obviously a lot of stuff in this movie didn't happen the way it happened in real life. I'm sure it didn't. But if the end results were the same, I wish they would have went about it a little differently. If they're gonna change things up slightly just to like.
So
make
like,
it
what
all work
exactly
better.
though, Sky? What exactly?
Well, like Monica Belluschi's character, for example, like was she in it? Like I couldn't tell. Like if she was like I couldn't tell honestly who knew what sometimes.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
it
like
was
the movie
really hard.
portrayed them all as kind of like being shady and bad. And I'm like, is she aware?
I think they
Like,
all
I
kind of
don't-
were aware of what's going on, because like, like even like Rachel Weisz was the like. The
Or were
only
they
one.
aware, or were they like actually actively sex trafficking too? Because there's a difference between that. Like some people were aware and just not doing anything
But
about it.
wasn't
other
Rachel
people were,
Weisz's
like,
character
doing it.
Wasn't Rachel Weisz's character? Wasn't she like the new recruit? Right, she was like new to this group because this group has been there before. They have been to
No.
Bosnia before. Yeah,
I
because like
don't-
the one chick said that this is like her second time being there, and like all the other cops seem like they're like, oh, this is Bosnia.
Well, there
this
were
is
the
what it's
local
like.
cops.
Yeah,
the
well,
local
no,
cops.
I'm not saying the local cops. Yeah, the local cops are local, but like I'm saying, like the other team that was part of the UN sent these guys in. Like
I mean,
they're American,
I
like
could
they're
definitely
American.
see them being there for a while.
Yeah, so like if they were there for a while, obviously they
Well, there's
know
6
what's
months
going on.
contracts. See, again, they didn't really set that up. because
Hers was a
everyone
6-month
was there on a
contract.
6-month contract except for her because she got promoted to the head of the department by that one woman, which that one woman has no power whatsoever apparently. So like I'm like, if she can appoint someone to head of the department, how can you not make change?
Yeah,
Like how can she not be
But,
told
like-
this? Because she's a good person, right, in the movie, but she did nothing. And so I'm like, this is like the CEO of this company, the way I take it. If she can hire someone as head of a department, like you got some pull, especially if it's a new recruit who's only been there 2 months. They said right at the time. I mean,
Mhm.
someone who's there 2 months over anyone else, she's like, I'm gonna make you head of the department. And then she doesn't really get any extra powers compared to anyone else. She can't do anything else. Think about it. Everyone else just like sidesteps her and they're like, nah, like we're here now. And she has no idea what's going on. And again, if it happened that way, I guess like the movie didn't do a good job of explaining how all of that worked. Like I just found all these like inconsistencies in like the logic of like.
Yeah, no,
I
there's
guess the
definitely
film.
inconsistencies there, but I'm just trying to say, like, I think everybody else that has been there before knows what's going on. They just don't want to say anything, and because like they don't want to get involved in the legal matters that's involved, like, because it's not even their government. Like this is all Russian shit. Like they literally are like coming from America, like, and going over to Russia, so they have to abide by the Russian rules. Like the UN has like that diplomat, whatever it is, diplomacy.
They have diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. Like, that's
Yeah,
weird.
no, that protects the people coming.
And it
there,
protects-
not, like.
It protects the people coming there, but and stuff like that. But like, I think they're limited to how they can get involved, essentially, because that's why they're training the local cops.
But again, they didn't set that up right then.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, the only
I know.
time I see that
it
is
was
literally when
kind of
Rachel Weisz
at the beginning.
was like-
Yeah, at the beginning.
Like there's one scene where she like sends a guy to work on a case, and then that guy goes to court, and that's it.
But the reason why
And then
that
she gets promoted to head of the department. So I'm like, does she have new powers now? She must, right? But no, she doesn't, because she doesn't.
But the
get
reason
anything
I think
else.
the reason why like Rachel Weisz's like character is the way she is because she can only act within her legal boundaries. And on top of that, she's from Nebraska, and this is her first time going over to Bosnia. So all these other people that have seen this shit, she hasn't. So this is all new to her, and she's kind of like in shock, and she wants to help as many people as she can, but she can't because they're protected.
But they're
And
being
that's why
protected
she
by
acts.
the people who've all been. I guess who've all. Well, no, because like other people were there for their first, like her boyfriend or whatever. That guy, it was his first time too. It's like not everyone who was there has like
Yeah, but like
been
the way
there.
she reacts when like
So
the
like
local
I don't
cops are like,
know.
"Oh, we're just gonna take them to the border, right? All we're gonna do is just take these girls to the border. That's all we're gonna do." But in reality, they don't. Like they don't take them to these safe houses or anything, right? Because like remember she shows up at the safe house, and she's like, "Oh, these girls aren't here." And then Rachel Weisz is like, "What? Like what do you mean they're not here?" And it's because I don't think like I think like because everybody's
Well,
in on it.
again,
Everybody's in
this.
on it. What's going on?
But
Because
again, this
everybody
goes
wants money.
back. No, I get a lot of people are in on it, but what I don't understand is the woman who appointed her. They didn't establish her enough because they made it seem like literally her like the other guy, right? The guy who like actually did all this stuff, David Stratham's character, Peter Ward.
Yeah.
He's the head of internal affairs, right? And she is having lunch with him. The other woman, like Rachel Weisz's boss, what's her name? Vanessa Redgrave's
Yeah,
character,
Redgrave, yeah.
Madeline Reese. Like again, she appoints her as head of department. Like I wish they would have established like what does that role do? Like what does that mean? Because like I don't understand.
How would they establish that though?
Well, she has
Like-
nothing new to do. Like Rachel Weisz gets this new role and nothing changes that she can do. So like why give her the role then? Like I don't understand. Like she has no more power than anyone else there. At least that's like the way the movie makes it seem like, which doesn't make sense. Like she should be in charge of everyone then. Like I don't like in charge of like all these lower people, but instead like they're like still like able to do things without her approval and like override her on things. And I get like there are people high up that are doing this stuff illegally too. Again, it's just all like muddied, I guess. They didn't make it clear, I guess, how it all worked. I don't know.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
So I mean, like I said, that's why like with a movie like this that's like obviously based on like true things, I would say for me personally, if I'm not going to watch a movie on this topic unless it like I guess one it's a documentary and I'm like, okay, this is all informative, or if it's done in a way where like I can 100% understand what's going on. And there's a better film out there that does this, right? Whether it's a documentary or just like another film on this topic. So that's where I guess I have the rating of not recommended. But again, Rachel Weisz was good in it. I didn't think, thought her acting was good. I like the plot again. I know why. Well, actually, I really don't know why it's there. Like, why was the whole side plot of like the mom there? Like the side plot of the mom of the girl who dies. Like they kept cutting back to her scenes. I'm like, I guess they're just trying to show that like, oh, like that sucks for her.
I think they were just kind of like, it was kind of like a sad portrayal of like how families react to like their kids, getting killed like in sex trafficking involvements.
Yeah, it's just,
but it was a very poor representation of like emotion.
Well, I liked how like it was like, well, I like in like the movie how like if this is like true, right? Because they say it's true that like usually it's like aunts, uncles, like dads, you know what I mean, doing all this stuff. And like it turns out that the girl you're kind of been following, who Rachel Weisz is trying to save, like it was her uncle who sold her into this, and the mom had no idea. So like I liked how like that was connected, but like it didn't go anywhere, and we never saw what happened with the mom, like ever. I don't think in the end, did we? I think she was just there, or she went back home.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened with that.
And they don't really touch on, I don't think either. Like those two girls are like the first scene of the movie, right? Those two girls, they're hanging out partying. One gets in a fight with the mom, and then then they both get sex trafficked. And later you see them where they're at. One of them dies, and then like at the end you're like, did Rachel Weisz save any of them? You know, like, did she do anything? I don't know, because it said they sent all those people away, but like none of them got charged for anything. So like, are all the victims still like? I guess there's so many more questions I had when this ended too. I was like, did she actually do anything, or did she just like get a bunch of people fired and it's still going on in that same spot, like the way it's always been? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And I wish it would have clarified like things like that.
So yeah, kind of going back to what you said about Vanessa Redgrave. So like, what were your main complaints? It was like that they like
I
she
don't know
had
what
the
she can
power.
do.
Like
Yeah,
you don't
she
know what she
appointed
can
someone to like a head of department. Like, what does she do?
Okay.
I know nothing about this woman.
Well, I just looked
Apparently,
it up.
she's having meetings with everyone.
Yeah, I looked it up, and like apparently in real life. So if this movie is like based on true events,
But again, I'm not
she
talking
was-
about looking up stuff. I'm just talking.
well,
based on
yeah,
the
but I'm
film.
just trying to tell you like it just says like she was the head of the office in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and as a gender expert for the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights. So I'm assuming she definitely has some power. I mean, with just that based off that alone, but it doesn't really
So
say
she's
like
like
what she
the
can
head
do.
of the human rights.
Yeah, the head office in like gender expert.
Yeah, I remember
it's called
them
the
saying
gender
something about
expert.
Gender.
Yeah, for human rights. She's like Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Okay, so she's like in charge of all the human rights stuff for the UN.
Yes.
So then she should 100% have the ability to do something then. And like as soon as Rachel Weisz
it just
tells
says
her,
head office, like head office. It doesn't really say for UN. It just says for Bosnia and Herzegovina, or Herzegovina. So probably two of like the countries like within.
Yeah, she's doing a great job.
Well, she got demoted so in 2009, and was fired in 2010. But it said she assisted Catherine Balkovich, and Catherine Balkovich, who was Rachel Weisz and was the United Nations International Police Force. So I don't think that Vanessa Redgrave's character was involved with the UN. I think she was actually involved with like the Russian government.
but see, like I guess I never got
to me.
any clarification.
Exactly,
on
yeah.
that.
They could
I
have
don't know.
explained that better. Because, like, I was under the impression she was working for... Because she's a British lawyer in real life. Like, she's, like, a British lawyer is what they said. So how she got involved with Russia... I mean, she's a human rights activist, so
Well, I'm
it's
sure
kind
there's
of
tons
weird.
of issues
But, yeah,
that
they
you
definitely could have
can do
explained
over
her
it,
character a lot more. Because, like, when she came into the movie... was at the court case, right? When she first got introduced, and like I was like, okay,
Yeah.
here's a new main character that's starting to come into the picture, but we never really got like a full introduction to like really what she did.
Yeah, and I guess it's a little unfair of me, I guess, in the sense of like I definitely like hold movies that say like they're based on things. Like I expect to know, like I expect to give you or expect them to give me like all the information I need so I can clearly tell like the power hierarchies, like who reports to who, like all these like certain, I guess, facts about the case, which this movie like leaves kind of like up in the air, and it just focuses more on the actual, I guess, sex trafficking. Which again, it does a good job, obviously, portraying that in a horrifying way. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed like very repetitive with that, and then not much of like, I guess, things happening. I guess, but again, if that's the order, and it was just this character, just essentially just like running around in circles, not knowing what to do, then like it's hard to like I guess judge it on that. But like as a movie, I guess it doesn't work because like you're constantly just like, what are you like doing? Like she waits to the very end of the movie to send an email, and then she gets fired for it. But then like the other guy, Internal Affairs, like reaches out.
Yeah, what did you guys think of the ending? Like, did you see that coming?
Well,
it's called The Whistleblower, so yeah.
Right.
yeah, I was just waiting to get there. It's like it's just like it's the same.
But did you think like she was gonna get like she kind of got initially caught and then it's like, oh
No,
shit,
I
like,
didn't
that
think
guy was in
anything
on it.
bad was gonna happen to her.
Yeah,
To be
no.
honest, the whole time I was just like waiting for her to like leave.
Well, they couldn't, because she works for the UN. Like they couldn't just kill her. Like that would be against the law. That would break the United Nations. And that would start
but
that would start a war if they did that. If they like killed somebody that was one of the people that
I don't
worked for
know
the
though.
police
See, that's the
force.
thing. That's the way it's portrayed in the film. Literally, there are so many people high up, like the head of Democria, the guy from Game of Thrones, whatever his name. He literally like
So
gets rid of
Davos.
her credentials, and then that other guy's like, "You're just a civilian now.
Mhm.
Like no one cares." And I'm like, "Well,
Well,
if that's
that's
the
after
case,
she
these
got
people
revoked,
would've
yeah.
killed her
Yeah.
so much. Unless these guys are incompetent, like it just doesn't like make sense. I guess how like these evil people are hurting all these other people, but then like the one girl who's threatening them, like they don't go anywhere near, or like they left a voicemail for her, like we're gonna kill you. Like I'm
Yeah.
like that's like so weird. And again, if that's what happened, I'm like these people are just stupid. Like
They even said like something along the lines of like accidents happen and like civilians aren't protected. Like so they could have just like when she was fired, like she's a civilian, she's not
Coulda
fucking
killed her.
protected by
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Just fucking make her disappear.
but they never made her seem like the movie never made her seem like she was in threat or like threatened at all to me. Like I never felt that like for her safety, which I wish they would have done. But again, if it didn't happen, like it's tough. I feel like that would have happened. I feel like she would have been followed everywhere. They would have been breaking into her places. Like I feel like they would have like I thought they were gonna raid her files, like her safe that she had locked up. I felt like someone in the government would have like a master key and be like, "Oh, I'm taking all your evidence."
Mhm.
But that never happened. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why they established her as a mom at the beginning, but that was never referenced again, except for one phone call.
One phone
like,
call,
she-
and then they like showed her crying a few times.
They dropped it for the rest of the movie though. That one
Yeah.
phone call was like a third of the way in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they did things, and then like they just completely forgot about them too. I
Yeah.
guess.
Definitely interesting though. Definitely a lot of like plot holes and stuff like that for like a story that's supposed to be based on true facts. But we don't
Well, I say
know
it makes me
exactly
want
how it
to.
happened. I'm sure like the director probably didn't know exactly because like this is something that probably happened, under surveillance. Like there was no surveillance at all, like without surveillance is what I'm trying to say. Because this is probably just happening like it's happening over in Russia, right? So they probably there's no traces. There's very little traces, and all you get is like stories. So you kind of have to piece together what you hear, and then you just
Yeah.
form a story around it. But yeah, they kind of did a poor job of structuring it, I guess.
Well, I guess
what I agree
my
with.
thing is it makes me want to watch like an actual documentary on the thing, and like
Mhm.
or like I mean, like I wish there would be like these were the real people. This is all the evidence we found. And I guess
Yeah.
like I kind of hold up these movies that say they're based on true events when they're actually like some movies say they're based on true events, and it, like it's like an Achilles movie or something. They're like, this is based off historical facts, and it's like, well, like it's based off the Iliad, but okay, you know what I mean? Like this is actually like takes it like seriously in the sense of like this is an actual case that happened. This woman existed. All these people like you looked up, right? They existed.
Yeah, they
So
were
I'm
real.
like,
Yeah.
okay. And so then I guess I expect them to like reach a certain level of like explaining things and clarifying things, which to me like it didn't do. It left me like wanting to like literally watch a real documentary, which I feel like this movie
Yeah,
that
and
should
I guess
not be the goal of this movie. It should be like we're going to inform everyone,
Mhm.
and it informed you about the sex trafficking stats at the very end, But besides that, I would have liked to like
And I
know
guess
what
the main
happened with all these
character,
evil characters, like what, like
the
I
Catherine
guess-
Balkovich, I guess she wrote a book on this too. So I don't know if like there's more in the book and like that we're not getting or
There probably is.
probably. So there's that too. Like there's definitely probably other resources to get information on what exactly happened during this time. And it's still happening.
Yeah.
Like it ain't stopping. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
definitely like a documentary would probably be more satisfying, but I think like the movie could have just have done better to represent it. I do agree with you there.
Well, I think they made it, like, all the horrifying aspects good.
Yeah,
It's
they
just the plot for
definitely,
the
yeah.
movie was, like, to me, where I'm like, I can't really follow. And then, yeah, the camera work to me wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't
The
super
acting
well.
was all great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess that's where it's like, I guess when I get into my ratings, it'll be like, like kind of right down the middle with the film. But that's why I leaned more towards not
Mm-hmm. No, I
recommending
agree.
it. 'Cause I feel like there's something better out there.
Should we
Right.
get to our ratings at this point? Because I feel like we've been going in circles for a little while.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
we could jump into the ratings, yeah.
I'm going with a 5 on this one. I would definitely say I would check out the book. I haven't read it myself, but there's just a lot of like weird like choices made like for storytelling with this movie as we've gotten into.
Yeah, I have the same rating, 5. I would just say, like, if you can, just like find documentaries on this issue.
Mhm.
That'd be my recommendation. That's like honestly something I'm intrigued to look into, or even if there's like an actual documentary on this actual case. I don't. There may or may not be. I don't know. I haven't looked, but yeah, I'm like in between. Like, it's definitely not a horrible movie. It's just one I guess I would never watch again. So that's where I kind of come up with mine.
Yeah, it was definitely all over the place. I mean, I kind of tried to reconcile with like some of the stuff that was going on with in terms of like legal action and stuff, because like I do understand like where like how the main character can be annoying to like watch, because like she kind of is restricted on what she can do. But yeah, I agree with the documentary aspect. Try and like do your own research on this, like look up some like books, and articles and stuff like that, and try and find like your own like actual source. Like, don't go to this movie expecting to learn anything. So for that reason, I'm actually gonna give it a 4. So, I mean, it was great acting. Yeah, nothing wrong with the acting. Nothing wrong with the set piece. It was it shot over there? Do you guys know where it was filmed? I didn't look that up.
I didn't either, but I mean, I assume is.
I mean, I can tell you in a second.
I'm assuming it was filmed in somewhere.
It says Canada and Germany.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Wait. Sorry, I'm going to IMDb. Wait, what? No, it was filmed in Bosnia for certain scenes, Ukraine,
Oh, okay.
Kiev. Yeah, so it
So
was
yeah, I mean,
filmed there.
they gave it a really good realistic factor. Is essentially what I'm trying to say. It
No,
made
yeah,
it
it
actually look
definitely
like Bosnia.
seemed real.
Yeah. So that part I liked. I just a 4 out of 10. I mean, I don't know. Just these true story movies are like always tough for me to really bite on, but I just thought this one, kind of saw it on Amazon, which this movie is free on Amazon. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier, but
I did not.
so yeah, it's free on Amazon. If you've made it this far in the podcast, but I just saw it on there and I thought, I like Rachel Weisz, so she's a great actress, and thought we'd check it out. But yeah, these true story movies are always tough to judge. And this, I had no idea. I didn't know anything going into this. I mean, I know like what sex trafficking is and stuff, but like I didn't know like this sequence of events like actually happened. So it's kind of cool to, I guess, to explore that. But yeah, definitely check out like your own research, documentaries if you can find any. Like I said, do your own studies and try and find like actual factual information. But that's all I got to really say.
Alrighty. So, the movie we are going to talk about next is one that we've all seen. We watched like a week or two ago, or probably a little longer than that, but whatever. It's a great movie. It is Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Hell or High Water. Then tune in Sunday late night.
Yeah. Sunday after the Oscars, we have our Oscar podcast, which should be lots and lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had the
Pop a bucket of
genuine
popcorn.
pleasure of watching all the Best Picture nominees, and let me tell you, I liked one of them. So yeah, on that note, if you guys like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as leave a like and a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and recommendations. To keep up with updates and other news regarding this podcast, follow our Twitter and like our Facebook page listed in the description below. You guys want to add anything else?
Nah,
Nope.
I think that's
Got
it.
her covered.
All right. See you tomorrow.